basketball tonight. Game 6, Wembanyama and the Spurs on the brink of elimination. Let's talk about the Frenchman. He's coming off a disastrous shooting night, just 4 of 15 in a Game 5 loss. His 25% shooting, the worst in a playoff game in his career, third worst of any game this season. Meanwhile, Wemby has been guarded by Isaiah Hartenstein a lot in this series, and that matchup really worked for OKC in Game 5. Wembanyama shooting just 27% with Hartenstein on him after shooting over 50% in the first 4 games of the series. And defensively, which is where the Thunder excel, they were finally able to break through against the Frenchman, shooting 69% when Wembanyama was the primary defender. In Games 1 through 4, they had shot 51%. The numbers there. Game 5, Thunder shooting 49% with Wemby on the floor. Second time this series, OKC shot better with him on than off the floor. We talked a lot about maybe he's getting tired. We talked a lot about this being his first go-around. Today, we're going to talk briefly about the pressure that exists. You know, Mike Wilbon, Victor Wembanyama, to whom much is given, much is expected. He's going home to defend home court and keep his season alive tonight. Let's talk about the pressure on the young Frenchman.
Yeah, I mean, this is his first foray into the playoffs. I mean, he went from lottery to playoffs and deep in the playoffs. And yes, that kind of pressure is what some of us look at and say, let's just calm down. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. You know, everybody, hardly anybody surpasses that test right away. Mm-hmm. And needs some time, and Victor may need some time. I fully expect him to have a terrific game tonight. Does he have 2 in him? I don't know about that. People don't have 4 and 5 great games in a series. Nobody, ever. And people just think, you know, when you have a series where you have 3 great games and maybe, you know, another game or 2 above average and where you're one of the all-time greats, that gets you an MVP in the series. Mm-hmm. All right? Yeah. So there's a lot of pressure on Victor. But I don't think he feels it. I think that when you're a figure like he is, when you're the face of the league already, and he is, at 22 years old or whatever he is, when you've played in the Olympics and you had that pressure and you are representing your country in that way, in the way that he is.
In their home nation.
In their home nation, yes,
France,
yes, Greeny. So I think he's not a stranger to it, but he'll get more and more accustomed to it as he has these playoff series.
Does he play huge tonight? Do you expect a huge game from Wembanyama?
I expect a huge effort, more effort than what I saw in Game 5. In Game 5, his offense was predicated on his defense. And that's really interesting about that, right? Because I think there are a lot of defensive plays where he wasn't impactful in the game. He had 3 blocks. I'm gonna go literally play by play. That dude could have had 10, 15 blocks on just a little bit more effort. So we're talking about going from 29 minutes a game to 39 minutes a game in the playoffs with games every other day. I think it's taking a cumulative effect on his legs because he's not as disruptive on the defensive end. You can say that's physicality, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, we're just gonna talk about heart.
Elimination game. This is his first experience. First time he's going to now know what that's like, to know that your season's about to end if you don't play great. And we're going to get on him because he's their best player to have another great game. You're right. He had a 40-point game, 40-20 game. He had a 30-point game. Like, he's had big games to help them win. Others need to step up. Yep. I know guys are banged up. I understand it's the playoffs. Guys like De'Aaron Fox, you got to raise your level. Like, you need a secondary player to cover for him.
Or a couple of them.
And give him some. They were not getting anything out of their others. However, for Wemby, there's only one thing to talk about. Number 1, play through that physicality because you know you're going to keep seeing it. You got to play through it. Number 2, 1 offensive rebound, unacceptable. Not at your size. Unacceptable when your team shoots 40%. That means there's a lot of rebounds available to you. 1 offensive rebound for a guy his size in the minutes he played, that's got to be better. That's the area I'm watching.
But I think that points to, I hate to use the word tired because it sounds like, you know, something you can overcome. I think he's just physically spent.
It's catching up to him.
It's caught up to him. Now, can he find it within himself? This is what the great players do.
Yep.
Tonight, at least, let's just talk about one game tonight. Can he do it tonight? I think he can and will.
So if he does, then we get a Game 7. If he doesn't, then OKC goes back to the finals. And if that happens, then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to join a list of company that I think is going to make your jaw drop. This is the entire list through the history of the NBA of players to win MVP and make the NBA Finals in consecutive seasons. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Bill Russell. You see the ones that are spot shadowed there won the MVP and the title in consecutive years. Bird never won back-to-back MVPs. Steph won that MVP the year they won 73 games and lost. But the point remains. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's name would be added to that list, which I think, and I give credit to I'm forgetting where I first heard it, so I can't give credit. But Chris Canty was the one who said it first. He said, we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because he's a terrific player. He deserves to be the MVP of the league. Are we ready to put him in that company?
I think you do that later. I think we get so carried away now with legacy and all these things. Let's see where this goes. Because first of all, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is entering the prime of his career. He could do this a couple of more times. And then what?
Yep.
So suppose he goes on that list in a way that nobody else is. He does it consecutive years, like 4. We got to wait. Maybe at this moment we feel a little reluctant to put him there. But Greeny, I mean, in 2 years, we don't know how we're going to frame this discussion.
What do you think, JWill?
I would say, stat-wise, I think he's in that conversation because the numbers, and you can't take anything away from the numbers. I think stats and styles are very different things. And I think when you look at some of those other players, the styles in which they played, it felt like that's an elite group. And I still think we're waiting to see how that style eventually emerges for SGA because, attacking a lot of free throws, falling down to the ground a lot. Look, nobody's taken away from how brilliant he is offensively. It's just a very different style that people aren't going to associate with the other styles.
Let's say it more directly. I'm not old enough to have watched Bill Russell. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Larry Bird were among the most enjoyable players to watch in the history of this or any sport. You couldn't take your eyes off of them. A great many people don't enjoy watching SGA play. It's not taking anything away from him. He has found a way to play that is extremely effective. They've won a championship and may very well be on the verge of winning another. They may very well be at the beginning of a dynasty that lasts a decade. But the reality is, when you watched Michael Jordan play, when you watched Steph Curry play, when you watched Larry Bird play, you were mesmerized. You were glued. It was magical to watch. And this is a never-ending parade to the free throw line. And are they going to blow the whistle or are they not going to blow the whistle? That's really what the experience is like. And I think that does make a difference in a conversation of this kind.
It does, but there were other players who stylistically weren't the greatest, and they were great players. I can think of a 2-time MVP right now in Moses Malone,
right,
who lived at the foul line, who pounded the boards and got 9 offensive rebounds in a game and scored that way, and there was nothing stylistic or magical about it, and yet I'm one of those people who thinks that Moses Malone gets short shrift in these conversations, not necessarily of the GOAT conversation, but just a truly great, impactful player, multiple franchises.
Right.
So, I mean, Shai Gilgeous, again, I just think that has to be written, Greeny. We're a little premature.
Mike, you know what I think a little bit of the problem is, though? Like the slight hesitation, because we're all basketball people, the slight hesitation where you have to be like, you have to think about how you frame it. You don't have to think about how you frame the other guys.
No.
You don't. Like,
Well,
automatically.
he's not with them now, and he might not ever be with them. I'm just saying he's got a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
there's still some evolving
if the
here.
style by which he does it impacts the way people perceive it.
Right. And again, what you were saying is box office, right? Like, are you running to the TV to watch him play versus, and again, it's all generational, but when you have watched the players we're talking about in Steph Curry, LeBron, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Bill Russell,
glued to your network.
These are players that you were drawn to, that you tried to imitate. Who's imitating SGA? Who's using him as an example of this is today's NBA? Because I don't know if that's really what you want. It doesn't take away from his accomplishments and what he's done. We have to always say that because it doesn't make him not a great player. But when you look at that list, one of these things is not like the other.
I mean, just look at that play. So I mean, if that,
I mean, by the way, look down the stretch in Game 5, guys. I mean, he was on the floor almost every other shot. I mean, there's a reason why he went to the free throw line 17 times.
I'm telling you right now.
That will not be happening tonight.
Here's what.
No, it won't.
That will not happen.
Not in San Antonio.
Can I make a prediction? And you've been covering this league. You're literally in the Basketball Hall of Fame. If the Thunder play the Knicks in the NBA Finals, with the magnitude of this market and all of the coverage and all of the conversation it creates, the way he is officiated, the way the games themselves are officiated, will be under a microscope, under a spotlight, unlike any that I think it has ever been before.
I don't know about ever. I mean, we went through this.
You got to go back maybe to
Bad boy
Sacramento and the
Pistons
Lakers.
and Jordan and all of that stuff was examined to death.
Yeah.
I was there front row for that. Greeny, you make a great point. It just depends on whether they win. Winning covers all this stuff.
Yeah.
The deodorant that covers all stink is winning. And if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes back to back and he's on deck and he enters next season as a 2-time champion and 2-time MVP, guess what? There'll be kids out in the playground learning how to fly.
Oh, no.
Listen.
Please, no.
You know what, Alan?
Please, no.
People may not.
Jay's leaving. Jay's leaving.
Jay, but you guys know I'm right.
Let's set those kicks and get ready to fall.
You know I'm right. I mean, this is people imitate whatever winning is, right? And that's how it's going to be framed. They can be upset in New York City. Guess what? They'll have to live with it.
Adam Silver actually addressed this on McAfee's special last night. We're going to play that for you a little bit later this morning because I think it's part of the discourse in all of this. All right, as we